Oh, let's talk about social media, in fact, and the fact that Facebook, what have we learned between 2016's election about Russian interference, hacking, of course, in that election, all about Facebook as well. Let's bring in Dr. Karen Sutherland now from the University of the Sunshine Coast, and you're back from the Gold Coast. How are you doing?
Very well. How are you?
Doing very well today. Let's talk about Facebook. So we know that last time around, it was all about the Russians who were putting up ads and false information, lots of fake news, etc. And the idea was that it helped Donald Trump there as well. We've seen some big changes in that time on all social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook as well. Talk to us about the changes.
Well, I mean, Facebook isn't really acknowledged. Like you saw in when they actually were in front of, that investigation where Mark Zuckerberg was talking about whether he believed that happened. He never really truly admitted it, but he has put in some means to try and sort of stop this disinformation being shared. And around political ads in particular, this time around, they're not allowing political ads to run the week before the actual voting takes place in the States. But what I read this morning is that as long as they're planned before that time, they will still run in that, but you can't actually place them during that week. So to be honest, I don't know. I think there's a lot more mechanisms in place for people to flag when it's some disinformation. They're having more checks. You have to actually, when you run an ad, like actually state whether it's a political ad or not. So there's that extra vetting, but we'll soon see, actually how that actually plays out in reality.
Yeah, very much so as well, because so much will be at stake at this. We've seen even within these organizations, like at Facebook, there's been huge debate about the role of social media in this too. And there's that documentary that I think frightened everybody on Netflix as well, just in recent days too.
That's right. And the social dilemma, I think it's called.
Yeah.
It's a great actually insight into those in the industry sort of knew this stuff already. And so what they were saying is in the lead up to the election, so with the Russian interference, they didn't actually hack anything. What they did is they just used Facebook to the best of its ability. They used all of the targeting and the remarketing aspects of Facebook that is there for everybody to use. But they used it on a grand scale to try and manipulate. And there was been studies by Oxford University. They did one in 2017 and then one in 2019, looking at this sort of these manipulative campaigns using social media, and they found that it's increased by 150% in those 2 years, and it's been happening in about 70 different countries. So it's not even just around sort of Western countries; it's happening sort of across the board.
Yeah, very much so as well. It's something that we're seeing that is occurring in China too, where there are concerns about TikTok. I mean, there are just so many security concerns. Do you think that it will impact whether people actually continue using social media to the same extent, or do you think people will be a little bit concerned?
Well, I think it's sort of a part of our lives now, and I think it can be very difficult to just stop using it, particularly when everyone's friends and family are on there, our photos are on there. I just think that's quite difficult. But there have been sort of measures or guides put in place to try and manage that use and to try and sort of stop and identify disinformation and to try and stop the spread of it. So the Institute for Public Relations has brought out a guide just recently called Think Before You Link, and they
Mm.
offer 10 different sort of guides on 10 different tips on how to try and stop that spread.
Yeah, very much so. All right, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thank you.